Vancouver is known for being notoriously expensive, but if you're in the know, there are some cheap things floating around, and I'm going to show you where they are. Stay right there. One of my favorite ways to save money in Vancouver when buying clothes is to come here, my favorite store, Value Village. It's a secondhand store, but sometimes you can find things that still have the tags and are brand new, and everything is super cheap. You really have to be able to dig around though, and if you get on their mailing list, sometimes they have a 30% off sale, and that's extra cheap. The Canadian dollar is not the same as the US dollar. Generally, the Canadian dollar is much weaker. So if you're coming here from the US, depending on the exchange rate, everything can seem very cheap. I just want to say that it really depends where you're coming from or what you're comparing it to. So the last city that I lived in before I moved back to Vancouver in 2016 was New York City. One of the things that struck me right away about Vancouver is that tickets to shows, concerts, plays, musicals was distinctly less than New York City. Here's what I found in my latest research, y'all, and all these prices are adjusted to Canadian dollars. You may be surprised to know that Rogers Arena in Vancouver is almost exactly the same size as Madison Square Garden. I love that the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra is so affordable. Check out the difference between seeing the Canucks play the Rangers in Vancouver or the Rangers play the Canucks in New York. Finding a cheap hotel in Vancouver is a very difficult thing to do, but I've got you covered. A well-kept secret called the Sylvia Hotel. It books up really far in advance, so you have to be organized and do your bookings months or even a year ahead. I booked for my birthday in April of 2023, and I got a room for only $125, and that is a great deal. And you're right in the West End, you're right next to English Bay Beach. It's a beautiful old character building, so if a brand new shiny hotel is what you're looking for, it might not work out for you very well, but I love it. It's got lots of character, and that $125 room is gonna be perfect. When was the last time you went out for breakfast, full breakfast, eggs, toast, ham, and hash browns, and it was only $2.95? I know where you can do it right now. It's called Bonds. Breakfast all day, $2.95. Free coffee refills, as many as you want. Bonds is also super cool, covered in graffiti, and a bit of an underground kind of punk rock place. Of course, you can spend more, and there's lots of other things on the menu, but the $2.95 breakfast is the winner. Make sure you tip properly. The poor waiters, what, are you only going to tip 60 cents on a $3 bill? No, you're not. You're going to tip at least a couple bucks. If you're getting some value out of this video and you've learned some way to be cheap in Vancouver, then just smoosh the like, smoosh cats. Give it a smoosh. Vancouver has lots of really fun things to do, especially in the summer, that are free, festivals and such. You can obviously spend money once you're there, but they're actually free to get into. The Mural Fest is one of my favorites. It's a big celebration of street art and artists. There's the Midsummer Festival, there's Italian Days on Commercial Drive, and the Cazzolano Street Party Music Festival. Bad news, smoosh cats. Groceries can be a real killer in Vancouver, so always look for the no frills. It's the cheapest one, bottom line, every time. No frills. Cheap eats is always something I'm on the lookout for. In Vancouver, it's kind of hard to find sometimes, but Olympia Pizza here on Denman Street, since 1986, they've been making delicious Greek-style deep dish pizza. And they have a medium vegetarian. It's only $20 and it feeds me 2 meals. You're welcome. I guess most everyone has a dollar store in their town. Certainly in North America, dollar stores are pretty ubiquitous. But if you're bored of the dollar store and you want to get something a little different, but the prices are about the same, just head into Vancouver's Chinatown, and they have these awesome little trinket stores. I love shopping for Christmas stocking stuffers in these stores. Just fun, little cheap, I don't know, chopsticks, ornaments. Incense, teacups, sake sets, tiny ceramic figurines. The lady didn't want me filming in there, so yeah, I just stole these shots. If you're traveling on public transport in Vancouver, always use your compass card. This is the way for it to be as cheap as it can be. If you like to drink beer, wine, or any kind of alcohol, here in BC, it's always going to be pretty expensive because we tax the bleep out of it. But if you are going to buy it, the cheapest place in the whole province is always going to be the government-run BC liquor store. Saving money and doing things on the cheap is always going to be a little bit about your own personal self-discipline. So how about free horse racing? Of course you can spend money. They make their money on the booze and the betting. But you don't have to do either of those, and you can get in for free and go right up close and watch the horses run right past you. Oh my God, so fun! Remember the days when thrift stores were actually cheap? Well, I've got for you, courtesy of the West End Seniors Network, this wonderful little hole in the wall called Clothes and Collectibles. It's here in the Denman Place Mall, which is one of my favorite malls in the city. This mall hasn't changed since I was a kid. And this store, you can find clothes and jewelry and kitchenware, artwork, and it's actually cheap. The Denman Place Mall, that's your spot. Obviously, hitting a sale is a good way to find things that are cheap. And Potter's Christmas store, Western Canada's largest Christmas store, they have a 50% off sale. It's not advertised on their website, but I was there shopping in the middle of December last year, and they gave me a coupon and told me that the sale was the last few days before Christmas and then the 26th. So get to Potter's Christmas store when everything is 50% off. That's cheap.